Have the Maverick Trail back in the garage today. We're going to install a wiper on it. What we're using for this install is a wiper out of a 2006 to 2010 Ford Explorer. Same basic wiper is in a Ford Escape also for them same basic years. I don't know the exact years on the Escape, but it's close to that. This install, I was planning on using the controller that comes with it, which mounts inside the unit there. It's this little box. Went through, pinned everything out, figured out what wires do what on this, connected everything up, and then I came to find out that the Explorer doesn't have an on position for the rear wiper. It has a slow and a fast intermittent position. So if you're going to do this and you want to use the controller to run it and get an intermittent position with it, then you're going to want the Escape wiper. It comes with the module built in, and you would just have to go through the pins and set that up. If you get this and you just want to tie it in, forget about the module. You got your harness here, and you got your three wires, red, white, and black. Red is power, black is ground, and the white is also ground, but that is for your park function on the wiper. One of the reasons I like this wiper for this application is it's going to be mounted in the middle of the window, and when this thing rotates, it does 180 back and forth, so it'll cover the whole windshield. With all that said, you can wire this simply by going from a switch to the red and then to the black, ground it, and turn it on off with a switch. It'll stop wherever you shut the switch off. If you want it to use the park function, you're going to need to put the switch on the ground side. So you would run power to your positive, and then I would make that switch power off the key. And then you're going to run a wire from the ground, the black, to a switch. Then you'll go from the switch to your ground. You'll also take the white wire and it'll go to ground. When you shut off the switch and it breaks the ground circuit, the white wire continues to carry the circuit until it finishes its full cycle. When it finishes the cycle and gets back to the park position inside the wiper itself, it loses connection and drops it off. Then if you would turn the switch back on, it reconnects the ground, would start the wiper again. If you don't want to leave power running to the wiper all the time like that, you could also install a 12-volt relay, a standard automotive relay, and tie that in so that it would shut it off also. But again, you would want to make this trigger off of the ground side so that after it parks, it would cut out the power going to the wiper. So with all that said, I'm going to start working on getting this wired. We have the wiper wired up and ready to go into the machine. I used 2 relays on the wiper because I'm using a lighted LED switch, and with an LED light you cannot reverse polarity, so therefore I'm having to run the positive through the switch side of the switch, and with that I'm using it to turn the ground side relay on and off. The ground side relay in turn is controlling the 12-volt positive relay, and when we shut down the relay on the negative side, when we shut the switch off from the control there, it drops out the ground here, and then what happens is the park wire here is actually carrying the ground still and keeping this relay pulled in until the wiper motor parks, and then that drops out, and then it releases the power side relay. So this allows me to run everything into the little plug I put on here, but I won't have constant 12-volt power actually going to the motor. It'll only go there while the switch is on. So I did put together a little wiring diagram of this So let me review this wiring diagram with you. We are going to start by turning on the lighted switch, which is connected to 12 volt positive power, which will send 12 volt power through the blue wire to the relay 2 coil. That will then engage relay 2, switching it and causing the coil on relay 1 to go to ground, which will then engage relay 1. Switching relay 1 will cause 12 volt power to go into the wiper motor, and the wiper motor will start running as the ground side of the motor is always connected to ground. When you shut off the lighted switch, you drop out the power on the coil 2 relay, or the coil on relay 2, which will then take it and switch it back to the green wire, which is the park wire for the wiper motor. The green wire will stay engaged with ground until the wiper motor parks. Once the motor parks, the green wire loses ground. Therefore, the coil on relay number 1 loses ground, and then the 12 volt power coming into the motor is switched off. Hopefully this will help you out and let you better understand what we're doing here. So to mount this on the machine, you are going to need to drill a hole for the shaft, and then there are 2 other mount points. So you will need to be able to bolt or use a stud or something through there to put a nut on there and right behind there. You're also should have some type of rubber grommet to go against the windshield to seal the nut side, the shaft that goes through against the windshield. In my machine, I actually welded a stud to my mounting plate, and then I'll be able to just put nuts on these. I've removed one of the fenders, and I am going to run power wire up the roll cage. Both sides of the roll cage, actually even the rear, they all have holes. It's kind of hard to see here, but there's a hole here that I already got some wiring ran up. There's actually also a hole in the outside of the tube right here also that you can run stuff up. That's on both sides. But anyway, I'm going to run up power, a ground, and then also one extra wire that is going to be my power wire from the switch down to my reservoir and washer pump. We got the wiper all wired up and mounted. There's the switch right up there. Like we said, when we shut it off, it will park no matter where we shut it off. And then we also have our washer. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe.